You have probably heard of the Gray Jedi. They were Jedi from the EU that incorporated the light and the dark sides of the Force. Many Star Wars fans believe that the Gray Jedi are going to come back into canon. In fact, a lot of people believe that this is the way Rey and Kylo Ren will end up balancing the Force. Now, while that is a pretty cool idea, in this video, I'm going to tell you why it will never happen. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. Quickly, before we get into this, I want to shout out Dr. Diaz, who got the nerd card question correct in my most recent Balancing the Force video. We're going to go ahead and do another nerd card question at the end of this video. Now, actually, in that Balancing the Force video, I had a lot of people ask me to talk about the Gray Jedi and put forward the possibility of Rey and Kylo Ren creating the Gray Jedi. This video is kind of like an answer to all of those questions, which I totally get. In fact, I kind of wish that the Gray Jedi would be a thing that would be brought into canon, but it just really doesn't seem like Disney is interested in that. Now, I really think the first thing we should do here is clarify what the Gray Jedi were and where they come from in the expanded universe. There were two basic qualities that made someone a Gray Jedi. Number one, it was actually a term used by both the Jedi and the Sith to describe a Force user that walked on the line between the light and the dark side while not succumbing to the dark side. So the Sith might refer to a Gray Jedi talking about someone who could be easily turned, and the Jedi would talk about a Gray Jedi as someone who they were worried about going to the dark side. The other way the term Gray Jedi was used was to describe Jedi that had distanced themselves from the High Jedi Council and the strict rules of the Jedi Code. Now, this is totally a Legends thing, but there was this High Jedi Council which made hierarchical decisions for the entire code. You can imagine certain Jedi not liking the decisions that this High Council could make. It's very similar to Protestants and the Pope and those kind of power structures within religions. Most of the time, the Gray Jedi from Legends were just Jedi that rejected the code, or they were like mavericks within the order. They sort of did their own thing. They could get reprimanded, disciplined for their actions. In canon, Qui-Gon Jinn was very similar to this. It was said often that he would do his own thing. He would not always listen to the council, and despite being incredibly gifted and very strong with the Force, he was never put on the Jedi Council. Now, there are a lot of hints at this being in the new canon. You have Ahsoka Tano. She is kind of like a Gray Jedi. You have the Bendu, who is introduced as quite literally the middle in between the light and the dark. There's a lot of moral gray themes played out in the sequel trilogy so far, and so I can see where people are getting this idea. The Reylo community especially sees Gray Jedi as an awesome possibility for Rey and Kylo Ren to come together within the Force. And it makes sense, right? I mean, you have Kylo on the dark side, rejecting the teachings of the Jedi. You have Rey, who is this new version of the Jedi and has a lot of pull to the dark side herself. Maybe they could formulate the Gray Jedi Code, incorporating some lessons of the Prime Jedi into their ideologies. The reason this is not likely to happen is because the morality in Star Wars is binary. You see, George Lucas wanted to tell a simple story of reality. You are either on the path to peace with a lot of love, or you are on the path of selfishness and you are heading towards oblivion. One leads you to a low place, one leads you to a high place, one allows you to be a villain, and one allows you to be a hero. Because this morality is really for young people, it's important that it is kept in its binary state. Even though many adults have realized that morality isn't so black and white, for kids especially, it's very important that they understand bad is bad and good is good. This is why I very much doubt Disney will have its main protagonist formulate the Jedi Order around a gray area of morality. It's just too confusing to young people, and it just muddles up the basic theme that is so inherent to Star Wars. Once again, I'm not saying there's not going to be gray morality in Star Wars, and I'm not even saying there's not going to be gray morality among Force users, but this is a saga film. This whole saga is about re-establishing the Jedi Order and forming a new legacy which will be the bedrock of Disney Star Wars as we move forward. It is equally as unlikely that Kylo Ren will find redemption by becoming a Gray Jedi. I mean, after all, the Gray Jedi of the Legends continuity were not tempted into the dark side fully. They could go back and forth between them without succumbing to the temptation of the dark side. And that's not Kylo. Kylo has gone full dark side at this point. There was a distinction in the expanded universe between Gray Jedi and Dark Jedi. And Kylo would more belong to the Dark Jedi even if he redeemed himself. The Dark Jedi just gave more into the dark side. They practiced dark side abilities. And while they might not have been as cutthroat and ruthless as the Sith, they were not as peaceful as the Gray Jedi. So that's more of the path that I see Kylo on. It's also very unlikely they will have a Gray Jedi Order or Gray Jedi be a thing when the actual Jedi are barely around. I mean, we need to reestablish the Jedi Order and fill out the galaxy with a bunch of lightsaber-wielding guardians before we're ready to have a bunch of Gray Jedi. I mean, that just makes sense, right? Now, there is a possibility of a new version of balance and possible acceptance, perhaps ambivalence towards the dark side within Rey's new Jedi Order. I mean, after all, there was a lot of things that Luke was learning about the Jedi late into his life. I'm absolutely certain that the Jedi texts have a lot of insight about how to deal with the dark side and how to achieve actual balance. And so this new order will probably have a lot of elements that people might consider gray, but it's not actually Gray Jedi morality. It's more like the true version of what an actual Jedi is. This is what the Prime Jedi represents, and again, I do believe that this will be incorporated in the new order moving forward. It's also possible that on the dark side of things, Kylo could incorporate an acceptance of the light into his new order. So it's possible that both sides of this coin will formulate a more gray version of their order, but for the themes of Star Wars and for the paths of these characters to come to fruition, I really do not think that Rey and Kylo will meet in the middle, formulate an order together, and call it the Gray Jedi Order. So at the end of the day, guys, that's what I think. I really do not think that Rey and Kylo becoming Gray Jedi is going to be the way that they find balance, but those are just my thoughts. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts, so let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. The video that I did last week about balance is, of course, my thinking about how they could actually achieve that in the future. All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, who was the Jedi Master of Qui-Gon Jinn? Yeah, who was the Jedi that taught Qui-Gon all those dope things? Answer that question in the comment section below. You can click below to watch some more dope videos, or you can click our icon to subscribe to get all of our future content. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.